Last time on Shadow Piece, the full-on fight between the new giant warrior pirates and all the different Lokis from different universes started. The number advantage was on the side of the Lokis, and their actual maximum power far surpassed that of the members of the Fleet of Death. However, as they were limited to the strength the Loki from our universe could dish out, it was more equal. It was an unforgiving battle, but through the quick exchange it was clear that neither side actually wanted to kill the other one. In the end, they still saw each other as the member of the same tribe. The battlefield was chaos in motion. Lightning splitting the heavens, stone cracking under the weight of titans, smoke choking the air and choking black plumes. The giants of the new giant warrior pirates moved through the ruin like mountains in motion, each step shaking the ground. The Lokis held their own, every one of them fighting with a mastery and cunning that could decide wars. But wars don't just stay even forever. Their duel had carried them to the upper terraces of Hachinosu, each strike carving pieces out of the island. A swing of War God Loki's axe cleaved a line straight down the slope, sending boulders tumbling into the sea. Irene's fists crashed against the weapon like meteors, denting its edges. "You're slowing down, War God," Irene said, his voice calm but burning with pride. War God Loki snarled. He had noticed himself already that he was unexpectedly exhausted from their small exchange. This must be because of the limits of the shut-in Loki from this universe. He took a step forward, only to find his feet sinking an inch into the stone. A thin sheen of black lightning crackled around Hyrene's knuckles. Advanced armament. The next blow landed like a thunderclap, slamming into War God Loki's chest with such force the shockwave blew apart the nearby fortress wall. Dust and stone burst outwards, and the War God's massive frame tumbled backwards, smashing into a watchtower and burying him in rubble. He wasn't unconscious, but his breathing was ragged. He wouldn't be rising quickly. Tyr's crimson blade hissed through the air, clashing against Bounty Hunter Loki's longsword in a storm of sparks. Bounty Hunter danced around Tyr's reach, his footwork fast enough to leave after images. But then, Road appeared in a blur from the flank, katana flashing in a quick draw slash. Bounty Hunter Loki parried, only to hear the crunch of boots behind him. Goldberg's club came down like a siege weapon. The blow landed square on Loki's shoulder, the advanced armament tearing through his defense. Pain jolted through him, and his sword arm faltered. That was all Tyr needed. Tyrfing swept forward in a crimson arc, knocking the weapon from Loki's hand and sending it spinning into the rubble. The bounty hunter staggered, dropping to a knee, chest heaving. Goldberg's shield loomed in front of him like an iron wall. "Stay down," Goldberg said, voice low. Bounty hunter Loki glared but didn't rise. He felt like this was for the best in the end. Elsewhere, the two weapon masters had level 3 blocks already, each blow of hammer against hammer ringing across the island. Danson's hair was matted with dust and blood, but his grin was still there. Cannon Loki roared and swung Ragnir in a diagonal arc, the air whistling with the speed. Danson stepped in instead of back, his hammer intercepting in a blast of force that cratered the street beneath them. Then Danson pivoted, shoulder crashing into Loki's chest, before bringing his hammer around in a short brutal arc. The strike caught Cannon Loki's ribs with a sound like a breaking mast. Loki staggered, coughing blood before dropping to one knee, weapon slipping from his fingers. Stanson stood over him, chest heaving. "Good fight," the shipwright said simply, before turning to the next clash, but Cannon Loki wasn't done yet either. The only two women in this battle had moved away from the chaos. The duel had carried them into the broken remains of a cathedral, shattered stained glass crunching underfoot. Gerd's axe swung in great devastating arcs, while female Loki's quarterstaff spun like a blur of blue and black. "You fight like someone trying to fix the world," female Loki said between clashes. "Well, someone has to," Gerd replied. Gerd had been completely analyzed by the female Loki in this short exchange. He always wanted to see the good in people, and even after being traumatized by Big Mom in her childhood, she wanted to believe that people could change for the better, and maybe Loki could do just that. She caught the staff between her axe's twin blades, twisting hard. With a grunt she yanked it forward, slamming her forehead into female Loki's face. The poneglyph weapon slipped free for an instant, and Gerd's knee drove into Loki's gut, winding her for a moment. A follow-up swing of the axe caught female Loki in the side, not enough to maim, but enough to send her sprawling into a crackled marble pillar. She slumped there, clutching her ribs, The fight gone from here. Goldberg barely had time to turn after having brought down Bounty Hunter Loki before the ground surged up beneath his feet. This universe's Loki's shift power pulling him off balance. The prince's fist came forward, wrapped in black haki. Goldberg's shield intercepted, the homie growling furiously as the blow echoed like a drum. Goldberg shoved forward, his glove smashing into the stone at Loki's feet. "You're tricky," Goldberg said, his eyes narrowing, "but tricks won't win you this one." He faked another swing for the head, then slammed the shield forward with all of his strength. Prince Loki was thrown off his feet, smashing into a half-toppled wall and sliding to the ground, dazed but not defeated. Loki faked himself losing consciousness perfectly, waiting for the right moment to get up again. Goldberg didn't know that Prince Loki's defeat would mean that all of the other Lokis would disappear from this universe, so he accepted that he had defeated him, which was a mistake on his part. Here's second fight was different. This Loki wouldn't go down as easily. The Ultimate Warrior absorbed blows like a fortress, his counterattacks monstrous. Here things Crimson Blade finally caught a shallow slash across his chest, but this Loki, he just grinned. Then Tyr remembered Hyrine's words. "A giant's strength is in their whole body, not just a weapon." Tyr shifted his stance, channeling his advanced armament not only into the sword, but his legs as well. When Ultimate Warrior swung, Tyr sidestepped, pivoted, and drove a kick into Loki's knee. There was a sharp crack, and the warrior staggered. Tyr followed with a diagonal slash, then a backhand cut, each one throwing arcs of black lightning. The final blow was a full body swing that sent Loki sprawling into the mud, groaning. Cuts were deep. Tyr was the only giant in this battle that would go for a kill, and when he did want to slice off the head of the Ultimate Warrior Loki, that monster just surged forward by shifting the ground with his devil fruit powers. Quickly he bit off one of the toes from Tyr, and with a manic laugh he yelled, "This was my goodbye present, fiery warrior from this universe! Maybe we'll see each other again in the future!" With that he vanished from this universe as he chose to return to his own. From his perch, Sniper King Loki had been harassing the giants, each shot bending space itself to become unpredictable. But Gerd spotted him, pointing him out with a barked order. Road vanished from the street below and reappeared behind the sniper in a burst of speed. Sniper King spun, rifle snapping up. Too late. Road's katana sheared the barrel in half, sparks dancing. A kick to the chest sent the sniper tumbling from the tower, landing in the rubble below. He tried to rise, but the shock had knocked the wind from him. He had the lowest durability out of all of the Lokis. The fighting hadn't stopped. Prince Loki, Admiral Loki, and Canon Loki were still in the fray, but the tide had shifted. War God Loki, Bounty Hunter Loki, Female Loki, Sniper King Loki, and the Ultimate Warrior Loki, laid on the ground, or buried beneath rubble, defeated, left back to their own home universes, or accepted the actions of the new giant warrior pirates as the best possible outcome. Maybe coming to terms with the fact that this was the crew of the brother they were looking for after all, because the power they showed? Yes, that did match what they believed to be the power of Force people. The plaza was a graveyard of buildings, walls shattered, street torn apart, firelight reflecting off rain-slick rubble. The surviving Lokis regrouped, standing shoulder to shoulder. The giants closed in, weapons at the ready. Both sides were breathing hard, battered but unbroken. The will to fight still burned in their eyes, but now the numbers favored the new giant warrior pirates, and above them the storm raged on, lightning framing the battlefield for the next brutal exchange. And this is the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of Lokis have fallen this time. The new giant warrior pirates are so well coordinated and they know how to work together as well. They are a real crew and not just a bunch of people thrown together to fight as a team. There is a huge difference between all of that. I think all that to be said from me for now is stay happy, stay healthy, most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro out. Bye.